Wow. Well, we arrived at the namesake through Grace. It was 100% Grace. We were doing a rebrand and we were just throwing tons of names at the wall to like encompass what we do. And I mean, I think she made a list of like a gazillion, and we just kept coming back to how to be magnetic. So that is 100% Grace there, Grace genius. And then the energetic is interesting because I would use magnetic in writing a lot, like magnetism and magnetic. And, I think we touched on this earlier this month, but I think people who aren't in TBM or in the pathway or doing this work, they have a really egoic notion of magnetism. And the thing I always think of is like that Carly Simon song, You're So Vain. It's like you walk into the room and it's like you're just trying to command all of this energy and things into your life. And here it's actually just it's quite different because really being your magnetic self is being your most integrated self. So all that to be magnetic or magnetic means is the essence you were when you came onto the planet. Even, the essence you were pre-utero trauma. Let's even get that. Like that's even deeper, your pure essence. And all the universe is trying to do is to have you peel back the layers to get back to that essence, to be your fully realized potential self and do what you're actually here to do on the planet. Because most often than not, you're doing, partaking in, wanting, engaging in things that aren't your true magnetic, authentic self. Most often than not, what you're engaging in, wanting, receiving in your life is mostly mirrored by your trauma still. So, what you learned through pain, shame, and programming that you needed to be loved or that you're worthy of. So, the good things showing up in your life and the hardships that are showing up in your life are all a reflection mostly of your pain, shame, and programming. They aren't typically a reflection of your soul's essence of what it's here to do, what it's here to accomplish, why it's here, who it's here to affect, just all of the things. And so in this brand, often we'll talk about like your highest self, your authentic self, and you'll hear that in spirituality. All that is your magnetic self. So in fact, there's not much about being magnetic that's egoic. And, as a brand, we got really pumped at the idea as a community. Okay, so what we always see as a brand are the biggest results when we have a challenge. And then people like, they go about their own way or they die off or they do the work or whatever. And so we're like, you know what? Let's take that community energy through a 6 month transformation. And if we're going to do this, we have to address step one, which is how to be magnetic, meaning how to meet your true essence, how to get back to your true essence, how to work from your true essence. And that's what this 6 month journey is going to be. So that encapsulates what magnetic means to us, but more importantly, what you're going to discover your magnetic self and meaning is. It's your true essence. I agree, and I think one thing that's really important to name as we start this conversation, and more importantly, as we start the six-month journey together, kicking off today with the challenge. Is that today? And this is that this episode? Okay. I'll say that. Kicking off today with the challenge is we're all on different spectrums of this, but like you said, it's all within us and inside of us. And the more that we peel back these layers, more specifically through this challenge that you crafted, Jessica, which really addresses your most importantly with you, Janelle, like getting grounded, how to regulate your nervous system so that you can renegotiate trauma. Also, then Jessica, like, really pulled in the most important pieces. Your shadow, you're going to address specific to this, your inner child. That's the whole way that we meet our magnetic self, that we get to know our magnetic self is peeling those layers of things like pain, shame, and programming that we picked up. And so just naming that we're all going to be in different parts of the spectrum. And as we continue the 6-month journey together, we're going to be like peeling layers and layers and layers of that off in community. So be really okay with where you are on that journey today. It's only going to deepen and get more special. Like there's no quick finish line. It's like, let's do this together in community, vision holding each other. I just wanted to name that. Like, I think people can feel like, oh, I have so far to go, but it's not the case. Yeah, so I like to think of magnetic self and self-worth going hand in hand. So magnetic self, like we've all arrived at here, is your truest essence. It lives inside of you. The work you're doing at To Be Magnetic always is peeling back layer by layer to get to that essence. And when I think of integration, for instance, from just total energetic manifestation standpoint, it means that things that we have, we're working to heal or have healed through this work, now they're just us. Like, that layer has fallen off for good, like you were saying, that false self has just fallen off. Like, that's what I'm always saying from an energetic perspective when I'm saying integration. Now, self-worth, the energetic around that, when we're talking about that a lot, it's often around, like, I won't settle for what I settled for in the past. And, like, if we really, really distill that down, that's not even ego really either. I like to think of our magnetic self, even if we're not a gentle being. Like, by nature, our essence isn't a gentle being. To me, energetically, it's a very gentle thing. It's ethereal. It's our, it's who we are when we leave as a soul and we come back again, or we go through things. That's our essence, right? And so when I think of something like self-worth, that gentle essence, picking up these experiences through life, through heartbreak, through abandonment, through peer pressure, through modeling we have to be this to be loved, this like soft gentle essence starts to kind of dim a little. And that, to me, that dimming is where we're losing our self-worth, we're losing our self-esteem, especially in ratio to those experiences that we're dimming it. And so when I'm talking about self-worth, we're doing the work to, especially on a subconscious neuroplasticity level, to look at those experiences and to renegotiate the trauma and the emotion around them. So that's where, when we're addressing our self worth, what we're doing is basically like getting in touch with that essence and feeling around at the experiences and memories that didn't feel good and they dimmed us. And we're basically turning the light back on. So to me, your magnetic self is your essence. And then your self worth is the light around your essence. It's not dimmed. It's where you've turned it on and all of the different different doors that those experiences hide behind. You've opened the door, you've shined the light on it. That's the self worth piece. And so, like, the work we're doing through To Be Magnetic is basically rediscovering our inner essence and then peeling the layers, turning the lights back on wherever we experienced the pain, shame, and programming in order for that light to be on. And when you are integrated and you are in your self worth, you know that you're there in a healthy place because you're not trauma responding, you're not over reactive or over correcting. So that's just an essence or an energetic I want people to be familiar with too. When you're actually in your self-worth in ratio to something you're calling in, like your magnetic self, and we're going to get into this more about the energetics of what a magnetic self is, you're not overcorrecting. You're not like, I said no to that asshole, or whatever the thing is. That is not your self-worth. That's still a false self. That's still ego. That's still your shadow. So that's a little bit we can unpack more, but that's what's going on with those energies. I know. Yeah, like I think, why weren't we taught this and astrology and finance? Like, I think of all of these things, that I'm like, wait, there are bigger concepts of why we weren't, and the patriarchy, et cetera. But like that's the beauty of where we are today, that we have access to this free podcast episode, in order to uncover that and start to ask, like, what does this mean to me and who I am, and then of course if anyone's even remotely interested in manifestation and actually like seeing results often, then it's like, you know let's really go down this rabbit hole to discover it and go after it. um yeah, what are my thoughts here, like in real time, about this stuff? I think the biggest thing of interest to me is, and it has been since I started this work, it's been reclaiming our inner child in the most, um God, how do I even want to put the energetic, in the most sacred way? Not even the way we think our inner child needs to be to even just survive in society, but like the full bloom magic of our inner child. Because when we, and I'll just become really spiritual here, sorry for the new listener, but before we take this body and we're looking at this experience, this human experience we're going to go through, and like arguably in all spiritual forms, the reason we're taking it is to consciously evolve each time we're here, right? But like how pure, and even the lifetimes we've had, the traumas we've gone through, like how noble and pure to go, okay, yeah, I want to do this, like put me in the game here. There's a reason. And so, anyone who's sitting here listening, there is a reason why you're here. And your egoic self might be going, oh, I know, there's definitely a reason. I'm leading of this, this, and this. Oh, no, there's a reason far greater than that. There is a reason, and it's so special. So, even when you're doing like any type of traditional, work in psychology, et cetera, like let's just even transcend that deeper, the full bloom of our essence of who we're here to be. And like just to get someone, how do I put it, just to get someone motivated, when we are in our magnetic self, even when we're just scratching the surface and just there for seconds, and just experiencing what that is and uncovering, the most powerful thing that you have when you are mostly living in your magnetic self, especially through this work, you're like the repetition and the emotional repetition, like you're creating the new neural pathways, is that it's that place that we all crave, that when we're in turmoil, or when we have to pass a test, or when we're having to like look at that expander and go, there's a reason that expander's in my life and I am worthy of what they have. That all, that peace, that grounding into, you know um commanding what you want into your life, that is your magnetic self. And so yeah, like that to me, when I'm looking at this, if you didn't have the most of us didn't, even if we had the best upbringing on the planet, I see this and experience it all the time, it still wasn't tailored to that full bloom of our inner child, that full essence. So, like, that's just something I want people to feel into from this conversation. Like, the full essence of who you are and the full bloom is so incredible. It's so special. Yes. Yes. That's what I was saying. Yes, that is it. Like, the no longer needing to outsource, or having that become less and less and less. And your magnetic self is going to be the most helpful thing and energy in any rock bottom, magic dark, or test. Like, there is nothing that is going to be more helpful than those spaces. I mean, it's kind of just what I said at the top. Like, real takeaway from magnetic self is it's your authentic essence. It's your whole worthy, authentic essence. Therefore, like I've always said from day one, especially if you're a new listener, the universe's only intention is to get you back into your whole worthy self. What that is your magnetic self. And so, therefore, it's going to put mirrors around you in your life and experiences to reflect back the triggers that you need to work through or the activations in order to peel these layers away to get back to yourself. Where does manifestation play a point in that? The universe knows that you're motivated by X, Y, and Z. Therefore, it's here to connect you with those things. No prob, happy to do it. But it's going to definitely take you on the journey along the way to unblock what's blocking that manifestation, expand, showing your subconscious to see to believe what's possible and needed for that, because most likely we're not our, fully magnetic selves, or we just haven't witnessed the thing that we want in its fullest form on a subconscious level. And then here's where magnetic self really comes in. We have to take aligned action. It means we have to pass tests, we have to jump off cliffs, that kind of work that has to come from your magnetic self, from the strength of it. So that's where authenticity plays the biggest role in this. And like you learn in how to manifest, when you're calling in a manifestation, it really has to come from your magnetic self, truly your authentic self. What is your core essence really desire? Because when you're manifesting and calling in the things that are to validate you from an external source, or to we know all of the reasons why, like the life path that's not right for you because it's what you needed for your parents to love you, etc. These, yeah, we've had a whole episode on how some of that might come, but most likely you'll be rock bottom and redirected on your soul's path, which is so full of abundance, so full of everything you want. So yeah, that's where authenticity plays a really big role in magnetic self. like truly your magnetic self is your authentic self. And when you say the floodgates would open, what would happen, Janelle? Yeah, I mean, to me, it all comes down to just really working with intuition and working with the universe. Those are probably, and really intuition is just the universe working through us. So, I think it's just such a vital part of manifestation, that pings piece, that connected piece, the intuition piece, because the universe is communicating to us at all times, through us and around us, and it's like if we can just become in, your terms, Janelle, in a grounded enough, a regulated enough space to receive that information, to not be reactive to the situation in front of us and, really, really see it for what it's doing for us, then we start to witness the clear communication and flow of the universe. So I think it's so big, it's so important. Well, I see like the more that we work with our subconscious, creating stronger and stronger neuroplasticity around the magnetic self, which we can also call the trust muscle, knowing that we are totally fully supported and taken care of. I'm also going to call this the integrated self. So, like, let's say what if everybody takes a moment to think of their ultimate Achilles heel. Mine forever was money because the rug was always pulled out from under us. We didn't have enough. My mom writing a hot check, etc. Those don't ever affect me anymore. They just do not, because I've done so much work around this, and integrating, like we've been talking about, those triggers and those experiences, those pain points. That's what free really represents in this pillar. The more that we strengthen our trust muscle through our magnetic self, the freer we become. So that means that, when you're going through an eclipse season or a big transition or jumping off the cliff, you're able to stay regulated and grounded. Your feelings are going to come up and you're going to, ride those waves, but you're able to not go into that place of holy shit, everything's going to fall apart or really bad stuff's going to happen to me. Those narratives start to quiet and quiet and quiet and quiet until they diminish, really. So that's what free represents to me. What about you, Janelle? Yeah, and just for another person listening too, because the universe is so spectacular at trying to get one into their whole worthy, authentic self. When I'm tested financially now, it's not like a few $1,000s. It's like hundreds of thousands of dollars or like really big. So the universe is always, if that was an Achilles heel and you're so close to a manifestation and your last magic dark tests are coming in, it's not gonna hit you with chill shit wherever you are because it's just there's no time and space, right? Wherever you are financially, it's gonna hit you with the exact experience that's going to trigger or re-trigger that old feeling in you that you're going to start shaking and you're going to start freaking out. It's going to give you that experience to go, are you sure? Are you sure you've outgrown this? Because I just really want to make sure that you are fully aligned with the self-worth of this thing coming through. So I just really want to make that clear that as we continue to integrate and up level, the universe too is going to continue to integrate and up level the test it sends you. And it will never send you something you can't handle because the universe is never trying to punish you. And in fact, it's never trying to like beat you down or any of those things. It's trying to get you to integrate this experience and get into your magnetic self so that you are completely in vibration, which means self-worth of the thing you're calling in. So I just want that to resonate with everybody too. It's not gonna that big magic dark test or that big rock bottom's not gonna be some chill shit. It's gonna be right wherever you at and there, there you are. So just so we all know. Yeah, and it's not even like all of that energetically. More so, it's the thing, like you're saying, it's the tool that's always sitting there waiting for you to ground into when shit hits the fan, when you have to pass a test, when you don't feel worthy enough of the expander you're looking at. And in fact, envy's coming out. And you're like, wait, what? Like, this is actually, that's what it is. And most often than not, through neuroplasticity, through the remedy we'll be releasing, which just takes energetic layers off of you. It's literally magnetic, is the remedy we're going to be like. This 6 month journey is no joke. Like, all the tools we're putting out are to like make sure that by November you have met your magnetic self. You know how to like get it ground into your magnetic self. You know what resources your magnetic self needs to have and be. And that's what it is. So the beautiful thing about to be magnetic work that's so different than old spiritual bypass manifestation is your magnetic self, like Jessica's saying, isn't something to try to be in all the time. It's not a vortex, it's not a frequency. It's inside of you, and it's going to be a tool that you can ground into when needed. And the even bigger beauty of doing to be magnetic work that is scientifically backed, every single deep imagining DI you do, every single test you pass, that has that emotional stimulation around it, you are furthering the neural pathways to connect, fire, and wire that you are becoming your magnetic self, which is like so hilarious, Grace. In the end, you know what I mean? Like, all of this work is you're becoming your magnetic self. So this isn't something you have to worry about. Like, I've got to be in this thing. I've got to stay in this thing to manifest. Mm-mm. No. through every single piece of work you do in the pathway in to be magnetic, you are on a neuroplasticity level, anchoring deeper, deeper, deeper into that magnetic self. And because we're doing this 6-month journey so that it's so recognizable, the feeling, the actions from this place, the responses from this place, the emotions from this place, what it feels, it's going to be so recognizable that anytime you need this tool to ground into for a magic dark, for a test, for a rock bottom, for an expander, for an unblocking, it is there for you. And all of the repetition you're doing in anything, whether it's in the money workshop, whatever you are doing that's a deep imagining, is furthering you into that place, gently pushing you to become more and more of that every day, all day. Oh, and that brings us to a really exciting thing to get you excited for the challenge and the how many 5 new deep imaginings that we'll be releasing with this challenge throughout the course of the weeks. We specifically designed this, we meaning Janelle and you, Jessica, and requests from the team and the community and me recording. We designed this that you can do this particular, like this deep imagining every single day. It's the one to like just get you into the groove, but even more exciting that you can do it walking, on the subway, driving. It's not one that you have to be lying down asleep. Not asleep. Don't be asleep, but it's fine if you are. Some imagining, but lying down with your eyes closed to do it. So this one is going to be that bespoke one that you can do right before an interview. You can do, on the subway, like you're saying, on the go, before all the things, before a date, etc. The magnetic self one. This is that, like, if we were calm space, it's the one to just like get you prepped for the day or for the experience. So I'm really excited for everybody to get to experience that in the challenge. I'll let you take it, Janelle, from a therapeutic lens. I love that. I love that because so much in manifestation you always hear like they'll be like set your what do they say? They're like then forget about it. Let it go, which is like I have so many thoughts on that. I think we talked about it in our last podcast episode, Jessica, but what they're actually talking about is what you're saying. And it's not something you can fake or pretend. It's something you arrive at through peeling away. So it's just something for people to know that the coolest thing, when doing this magnetic challenge is you are doing so many things at once that are just going to like like crazy manifestation power stuff, so yeah, that's the thought I have with that. That's what real the energetic of really surrender means in manifestation. It's not something you fake, you arrive at it. Oh, sorry guys. Oh my god, yeah, and I think for that person too, it'll just be so fun to tune into 5 new deep imaginings. For the new listener, that's our bespoke hypnosis process that creates the neural plasticity to make you manifest. There's some really good ones that are coming out. Thank you, and always Jessica for leading being the light in the crowd that keeps us on point and going everywhere we need to go.